Hello, this is Compound Interest Stock Guy, and today we're going to be talking about Tilt Holdings, my number one pick for March. And I'd also say it's a big pick for the whole year, to be honest. And we're going to compare it with Acreage Holdings, so stay tuned. All right. So if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. It helps my channel grow, and I appreciate it. Uh, Please give me a thumbs up if you like the video. And yeah, so before we get into this, I want to disclose I'm not a financial advisor. This is just for entertainment information purposes. Do not buy or sell stock based on anything I talk about in here. Buy or sell stock after you did your due diligence and your research and you decide you want to invest into that company. Okay, so now we got that done. So I just added these Audio Technica headphones and they're sweet. Look at the stickers I got added. Check them out. Yeah, that's what Amazon does for you. All right. I love them now. Yep. So let's do this shit. Okay. So Tilt Holdings, they started dropping. They IPO'd at around $2, which is cheap as F, in my opinion. So I'm hoping it'll retrace to $2. And I got 100 right now. Maybe I'll pick up another 400 if it goes to $2. That's my opinion. If I had 500 shares, I'd be happy with that. I mean, if I wasn't so invested in some other companies, I'd probably be buying 1,000 or maybe 5,000. Who knows? But I don't want to go too overextended on this, but I do love the company. So they basically hit 335 and then it dropped, it rolled over. So look, if you want to get into this company, look for it to bounce on, say, if it hits 250. When you look at this stuff, you got to look at the big numbers. $3, 250, $2. Those are the numbers in big support and resistance. But okay, so 250 right here, that was the resistance. So that may be further support. So maybe it's just going to stop at 250 or 247 and jump from there. It may head out to 350 from there. But it may end up going down further. Again, that's it really depends on what the market does. So they had 642,000 shares traded. That's pretty significant. I think there was a lot less in a few days ago. So before you just think, okay, volume, you got to look at who's buying and selling. Sometimes that helps. So when an anonymous and Canaccord, nothing really sounds too off the top. It's just when, yeah, anonymous, I've seen it on these CSE stocks, they go crazy with buying and selling, and they'll bring down the price hardcore. And so it looks like there's a lot of manipulation, in my opinion, with Canaccord being involved on the sell side, and then on the buy side, anonymous selling. I don't know. It's hard to really figure it out, but I'd say there's a little bit of manipulation going on. So again, this 358 million shares is their share structure fully diluted, but if you were to buy all the shares that were on the open market, you could only buy 200 and say like 80 million, 270 million, I mean. So that's the amount of money that's in the float right now. So you just look at it. If there's institutions that end up spending 5, 15, 25, 50 million, I mean, a cumulative, say there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and they're all adding 10 million and they're getting their positions for an explosion in this company, that's what you have to look for. And that means that they're out of retail's hands. And that means that there can be a big upside swing. So it gets confusing. I don't want to go too into it, but I just want to talk about their share structure. And they really haven't been out very long. They started on December 6th. So not many people know about them. So I'm just gonna do the share structure of Acreage before I get more into depth on Tilt Holdings. So I'm comparing these two because a lot of people think that Acreage is the big monster and they're gonna take over the USA. I personally don't really think Acreage is that much. I don't know. I guess if they get big backings, a big financial backing, if there's the USA cannabis, uh, there's some type of deregulation in order that these companies could get more money from institutions. If well, it's also about it's the cash register at dispensaries if they're able to bank. So that's going to be a big catalyst. So a catalyst is basically say it was down here and all of a sudden they got amazing news. They had great financials and then it just explodes. So that's the stuff you gotta look for straight up. So they basically got 37 million shares trading right now, and at 19, give it 20, so close to about 360, 370 million dollars in all the shares that are trading with retail and institution. Now, I'm not sure there are other share structure when shares are going to come to market. I haven't done enough research on Acreage. I know they have a decent cash position. It's not uh, at the same as say Chronos or Canopy, but it's I think it's significant. It could be 200 million. It's hard to say. So that's really what they have in their favor. But as far as a revenue standpoint, I'm not that bullish on Acreage. MedMen's gonna blow them out of the water as far as 2019 goes, and same with Tilt. I predict that MedMen's probably gonna do at least 250 million for 2019, if not more. They could do 300. It's hard to say. Their pro forma basis when their acquisitions get added is was like 45 million. So that's just the beginning of the year. So if their growth is really high, where it's say 100% at the end of the year, then they could have a quarter of say 80 million, 90 million, 100 million. And so their other quarters could be small. They could be 45, 50 million. But then, so you add those with a big quarter of 100 or 125, and that's where you get those big numbers. Again, we won't know till the end of the year. This is pure speculation, but I believe strongly that Medman and Tilt's revenues are going to be much higher than Acreage for the year. So, and their fully diluted are 107 million shares. So you add that by 19, that's close to 2 billion, and then you times it by about 30 to 33%. Let's just do 30% because that's the conversion from US to Canadian, and that's close to about 2.6 billion. So you're comparing Acreage Holding, which is 2.6 billion, and then Tilt is closer to about 900 or 950 million. That's about 3 times higher market cap straight up. So you got to put that into context. So listen, Tilt, he was on Midas, and I recall him saying they have 40 million cash. So that's gonna be their con is they don't have a big cash position, but say if they start making profits every month, then who cares really? They're gonna be just generating more cash flow, so they can just run the business really effectively in a tight, nice management style where they're not just burning cash. That's what you gotta look at in these companies. I mean, you get these companies and they got all these cash flow, but if they start burning it, they're gonna have no cash in some time. It's kind of a concern for MedMen. That's why I just look at MedMen as a swing trade right now. I mean, I might get out at say $7 or $9, and maybe it'll fly higher. Maybe it'll go 15, 20. But I just want to play the safe side. I want to take my profits. So that's what you got to look at, because when they run out of cash, what happens next is they're in a spiral where they have to dilute more shares. And so your shares worth less. Just look at what dilution really is this, and my analogy is, and it's other people's analogy, like for food you dilute it or whatever, but let's just look at a drink. Okay, so say you got 7 Up and you dilute it with water. Well, you take a taste of that 7 Up, you're not going to taste as much 7 Up because the water's diluting it. So it's not going to taste as good. It's not going to be as pure. And that's the same with your shares. When they add more shares to the float, it's you don't own the company as much. And unless you buy more, and so it's a death spiral. Say you're an investor, you got $10,000 and you put it into this company. Now all of a sudden they add another 25% more shares. You're gonna own 25% less, I think. I'm not sure about the calculation, but it should be somewhere around there. And so that's what you gotta think about. I mean, maybe the company grows so much from those added dilution and the cash position that it makes up for the fact they're diluting. But as far as your ownership in the business, you're not going to own as much percentage of the company. So yeah, I don't want to get too into that, but I want to touch on that. So I hope you like that. So Tilt Holdings, they are pretty much a global company. They're working in Canada, they're working in USA, and they're under the effing radar. Why? I love companies under the radar. Why? Because institutions and retail haven't bought that shit out of these companies, so I can get them for cheap. And then when it appreciates, I can sell it for a much higher price and offload it to these institutions and or the retail. Obviously you gotta look at it, say you have your own price target, you buy that stock for 260 and you're like, okay, I'm gonna hold it for 6 months and I want to reach $5. And then you get to $5, you sell your shares, you're out and you're in your cash position. But now if you wanted to hold it for say 3 or 4 years, it helps you get in way earlier than the crowd. But you can't just get it in with any stock. You got to pick stocks that are solid. They got nice fundamentals, and you're buying them at very nice, attractive prices. It's the same idea. You go to the grocery store and you see chips on sale. Well, maybe you were like, I don't want to buy chips today, but then you see chips are usually selling for $4.50 and you see them for $1.99 and you're like, this is the same bag of chips at a $1.99. Well, why don't I get into this? If everything are all equal, why not, right? So, anyways, so till retail, cultivation, genetics, processing, manufacturing, brands, consumer, retail, wholesale, and distribution. Our goal is to consolidate and centralize services for cultivation, production, and retail through infrastructure and technology. They offer wholesale offers a complete supply chain solution. Tilt solves operational pain points by complete facility delivering compliant vehicles. Tilt's online menus can reach new customers, increase sales, transforming retailers into powerful e-commerce platforms. Customers can order online from your menus with home delivery in 2 hours. So they got home delivery. Yeah, I love that. Dispensary Tilt streamlines and store inventory to sell on the powerful e-commerce platform. Wholesale Tilt software allows operators to complete on-demand deliveries in fulfillment environment. All right, so they're full spectrum. They're doing their thing. They're all across the board, and they're getting their piece of the pie in all areas. They're diversified, that's awesome. Instead of having to buy one like 5 stocks, you can get a lot of variety from just this company. That's pretty much why they got holdings, Tilt Holdings. It's not Tilt, it's Holdings. That's a nice feature. I mean, look at Aurora. You got all these different companies underneath their umbrella. Same type of idea. Modular framework provides deployment, operational expertise, supports an operation cultivation facilities and retail dispensaries. Let's make this a little bigger. Okay, technology. Comprehensive suite of software and service helps cannabis retailers optimize their business and provide service. Okay, so they got wholesale logistics, SaaS platform, helps over 1,000 dispensaries capture and engage in retail consumers through messaging, loyalty, and e-commerce. Last mile delivery from brands and directly to consumers in compliance with state and local laws. I mean, that's genius. That's smart. They're doing good things. I love companies that use their resources to full capacity. I'm invested into Wayland and they got all these acquisitions, but they're not doing anything to create revenue from it yet, which is pissing me off. Tilt is doing it right. I like it. Portfolio, Tilt combination of leading cannabis. Again, I'm not trying to bash on Wayland. Wayland's got a lot going for it, but we're talking about Tilt and U.S. Holdings, U.S. companies, I mean. Baker Technologies, industry largest through a variety of products. The company has raised nearly $12 million and works with over 1,000 dispensaries. Blackbird and distribution company that provides the logistic operation and software for each. Nevada, California with aggressive national expansion plans. Okay, I like that. National expansion plans. Yeah. Let's do this. Let's dominate USA, baby. Average of 30 million in wholesale cannabis for every 30 days. 100,000 deliveries to consumers across Nevada and California. That's awesome. Wow, they're big. Holy F. Okay, Standard Farms is a multi-state medical cannabis operator focused on greenhouse cultivation and CO2 extraction with operations. Standard Farms strives to bring the cannabis industry a diverse product line focused on health and wellness. Okay, Brightside is based out of Bend, Oregon. I was there once. It's a very nice place. Oregon provides a match time to market for new cultivation unit. the most cost-effective prefab modular construction company. Wow, that's awesome. So they're building construction for modular cultivation facilities. Sea Hunter is a leading source of capital and management expertise for the cannabis based out of, has raised over 125 million in its vertical operations. So Scott Sycamore was he was asking me, I did my top 10 stocks for March. Check it out. It's a good video. I think I put a lot of effort into that video. It's my whole honest opinion. But he was saying that how did Tilt get so huge so fast? So I don't really know, but it looks as though they just partner with all these companies, and I mean, companies like working with them. You know, that's what you want. You're a solid person, you're a solid company, people want to partner with you. Why? Because it's rare. It's rare to find solid companies that are straightforward and they're down to business and they're fluid and they're effective and they grow businesses. That's what you want, and this company is at the forefront of being a dynamic player. So they have SBH as developed, and this is in Powell River. All right, so we're gonna just look at this. They're late stage health Canada license under the ACMPR. Okay, so Powell River is fairly close to where I live, and it's in parallels. There's a long standing with the island. Some of these small islands having very good cannabis, so I'm sure they found some pretty good solid growers to be their master growers and all that at this facility. Again, that's just speculation on my part, but BC is world known for having good cannabis. So I like the fact that they're working in BC. They didn't decide, oh, we're going to work in Ontario or Alberta. Let's work in some of the hottest areas in Canada. Not just anywhere. I like that. Sign of definitive. So where is it? Trying to find info. Presentation. That's where we're going, I think. Oh, no. Yeah. Oh, damn it. Well, overview should be good. Phase 1 facility. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. 40,000 square feet of the catalyst paper. Okay, so there's a long stand with pulp and paper out in BC. So they decided to do a renovation on one of these paper pulp and paper facilities, and they want to do 3,000 kgs, which is 3 million grams, as a base for operation and the hub for contiguous expansion of phase 2 and phase will be ground up, purpose-built projects. They could with mid-20. Wow, I don't think they have a license yet. I mean, but that's gonna be a good size facility. 40,000 square feet, 3,000 kgs. I mean, say they sell it for $6 a gram to the provinces. That's 18 million per year. I mean, it's nothing small. Measure 50,000 over 2. And then they'll add this. Maybe that's another 3 to 4,000 kgs and 40,000 processing, production and process. So yeah, I mean, when will this all get completed? Maybe 2020. Who knows? A lot of it should, like the first phase should be done by that mid this year or something, and then they got phase 2 in there. So that's pretty cool. So they're working in all assets, and yeah, I mean, it's solid. So this is the CEO. I like the look of this guy. I've heard him talk. He's a good looking guy. He looks very confident. He looks pretty buff. You know, you c- you can learn a lot just by looking at people's eyes. If you look into their eyes, you can tell kind of if people are trustworthy, if they're hardworking, if you know it's a skill set, but for myself, I'm confident when I look at people's eyes, you can learn a lot about their character. And looking in this guy's eyes, you can see the determination. Uh, yeah, I mean that's their CEO, but this is the whole. So his name's Alex Coleman, and he's the co-founder of Sea Hunter and CEO of Tilt. CMB 119 million to an IPO, and so yeah. So this is what I highlighted. The company already sells its suite of technology offerings to dispensaries in all 33 states that legalize medical or recreational cannabis, but the plan itself cannot be shipped from states. The company has been forced to acquire cannabis license in more states in order to grow enough to manufacture products. So they're dynamic. I mean, they're doing things, but this is where I didn't highlight 512 million in revenue. I saw another number 450 million, and I think that's in US dollars. It could be wrong, could be in Canadian. And then for 2020, they're estimated around 800 million. That's almost $1 billion by 2020. That's good. Uh, that's good. I liked it. That's my number one pick for March for quite a few reasons. Uh, so now we're gonna compare with. I'm not gonna do too much information on Acreage. I'm just gonna summarize this, and then we're gonna be done with this video. But and I'm not. Maybe I'm biased on Tilt because I have a small position, but I don't think so. It's just basically, I just believe that Tilt is a lot better buy than buying Acreage. At the same time, it don't matter because it's the street. If the street's back in Acreage, they have a buy rate of $40. Acreage could hit $40 before, say, Tilt hits $5, which would both be pretty much doubles. But I don't know. I just think it's safer to invest into Tilt. And maybe I'm just wrong. Maybe I just need to be a sheep and I just need to follow the crowd and be like, okay, yeah, doesn't matter if Acreage is more overvalued, just buy Acreage because that's what the street likes. I don't know. But I personally would rather buy a company that's more undervalued and I want bigger rewards. And I think the street's gonna catch on to Tilt. And I mean, I could see it hit 7, 10, $15 in the next 12 to 24 months. That's just my opinion. Again, this is just this is just my opinion. Do not buy or sell it based on my opinion or anything like that. Uh, Stanley expects Acreage to generate adjusted EBITDA in 2019 of 60 million on revenue of 272 million and adjusted EBITDA in 2020 of 158 million on a top line of 533 million. Okay. So they're gonna say 533 million. So that's about 60% of what Tilt will probably do in 2020. So they're lagging and they're 3 times more expensive. So on a revenue basis, you're based on their 22 revenues, uh, Tilt is uh, pretty much um, they're about 4 times more undervalued, I think, than Acreage on a revenue thing. So yeah, what EBITDA is? Earnings before income, taxes, depreciation, and assets. So yeah, yeah. So that's the talk of the town. I wanted to bring this to my viewers, whether you're a subscriber or you're just uh, checking out this video. And yeah, I wanted to touch on something that nobody's really touching on. I wanted to bring this to the people. I wanted to just show show this undervalued company what Tilt's got going for it and why it's a pretty good buy. Um, yeah, I hope you like this video. Please give me a thumbs up if you like it. Give me a thumbs down if you dislike it. And subscribe for future entertainment and information purposes. And yeah, I mean, I go through videos on cannabis and I talk about commodities. And I got a few videos on credit card debt and how debt's bad for you. Uh, uh, I go all over the place, but mainly just cannabis. And yeah, I hope you become a subscriber. And until next time, peace.